Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are immersing ourselves, really getting into the weeds, of the extremely high-stakes world of global travel.
That's right. Destination marketing, airline corporate communication. It's a complex space.
And our deep dive mission today, it's focused squarely on, well, a pivotal decision for any major player in this sector.
Choosing the right communication agency.
Exactly. We're going to unpack the value proposition, what do specialized communication services really offer compared to the generalists.
And we'll use a specific, long-standing expert, Sergat, as our case study to understand this better.
Right.
Because that decision, choosing an agency, it's far more consequential than just picking a supplier, honestly.
Oh, so?
Well, think about it. For a tourism board, an airline, a luxury hotel group, the communication partner they choose, that's their primary risk management tool.
Ah, okay. Risk management.
And it's also their engine for aspiration, for creating that desire to travel.
So we aren't just talking simple marketing here.
Not at all. We're looking at the strategic necessity, really, of focusing on, as the source material puts it, people, emotions, passions, experiences.
It's the core.
And our source material gives us this fantastic 38-year snapshot into how one agency, Sergat, has successfully navigated this incredibly volatile environment.
38 years is quite something in this field.
It's remarkable longevity.
So the ultimate goal for you, the listener, is to understand those defining differences. What does true sectoral expertise actually look like in PR and corporate comms?
And how do you assess it? How do you gauge the stability, the strategic depth of an agency that claims this specialization?
Because it's not enough just to be a good marketer, is it?
Absolutely not. You have to be an expert on global volatility, on cultural nuance, on the psychology of the modern traveler. I mean, it's deep.
Right. When the world changes overnight,
Yeah.
A pandemic hits, there's a geopolitical shift, a sudden natural disaster.
The generalist agency's playing catch-up. They're scrambling.
But the specialist,
The specialist is already operating from a foundation of, well, institutional memory. They've likely got pre-planned scenarios. They've seen variations of this before.
okay, so let's start right there. Let's analyze that core imperative.
Right.
Why is specialization in travel and tourism basically non-negotiable today?
Okay, let's unpack this, the structural necessity. Our source material outlines 4 specific, you could say, high-risk verticals that specialized agencies like Sergat focus on.
Right. Tourism, aviation, hospitality, and lifestyle.
On the surface, they all involve travel, obviously. But strategically, from a communication standpoint, they seem like vastly different animals.
They are very different challenges.
So why is it beneficial strategically to group these 4 together? What's the thinking there?
Well, what's fascinating here is the interconnectedness, not just of opportunity, but also of risk, and the complementary nature of the expertise needed.
Okay, give us an example.
Let's take aviation. This sector operates under intense international scrutiny, financial regulation.
Right. Very technical. Exactly. Communication here has to be technically precise, often instantaneous. Think about when a major airline, like Delta Airlines, in our source example, is reporting quarterly financial results.
Yeah, high stakes there.
Immense stakes. The communication team must be absolutely fluent in investor relations, financial compliance, immediate market messaging. It's a specific skill set.
And that feels almost diametrically opposed to, say, promoting a destination.
Completely different vibe.
Like the other example we have, promoting the start of the whale shark season in Seychelles.
Exactly. That requires evocative, emotional storytelling, high aspiration. It's all about conservation, maybe luxury. The unique experience of witnessing a natural spectacle.
You definitely don't use SEC-style reporting language for a whale shark campaign.
You certainly hope not. But here's the key. The specialist understands that the potential audience, that discerning, high-value traveler, might be the same person who flies on that major airline and stays at that luxury hotel.
The overlap in the target audience.
Precisely. So by integrating these 4 verticals, tourism, aviation, hospitality, lifestyle, the agency gains a kind of multidisciplinary advantage.
How does that play out in practice?
Well, the rigorous discipline, the speed, the crisis management protocols honed in aviation, they can be immediately applied if a destination suddenly faces an unpredictable event. A weather crisis, civil unrest, whatever it might be.
That makes sense. That cross-pollination of best practices.
That's what the client is paying a premium for, that integrated, tested knowledge base.
So the foundation of this specialization, it seems, is ultimately rooted in their core philosophy, storytelling.
Yes, the source really highlights that. Their mission Telling client stories in a creative and innovative way. People's stories for people.
Stories that generate passions and movement. I like that phrase.
It's powerful.
How does specialization allow them to execute this storytelling better than a generalist agency could?
Because specialization lets the agency skip the learning curve, they can instantly access the emotional drivers relevant to that specific sector.
Right, they already speak the language.
Exactly. A generalist PR firm, maybe briefed on a new luxury hotel, might focus on the features, the square footage, the number of pools, the amenities list.
It's facts and figures.
Right. A specialist, already immersed in the world of hospitality and luxury lifestyle, taps into the psychological levers.
Okay, like what?
Like the passion for unique cuisine, the desire for exclusivity, the need for respite, for escape. They understand that a trip is often purchased because of the narrative the traveler wants to live, not just the product they want to consume.
That's a crucial distinction.
It is, and that deep understanding is the difference between just doing product marketing and actually creating movement, getting people to book, to go, to experience it.
And that movement, that action needs to be measured, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Storytelling is wonderful, but clients, especially in these volatile markets where budgets are tight, they need tangible results.
Absolutely critical.
The source mentions a commitment to omni-channel and result-oriented communication strategies. This is where we need to talk ROI.
Yes, and this is where the analytical depth of the specialist really comes into play. They quantify their success. The source mentions generating substantial exposure in online and offline media with a reported multi-million-dollar value.
Okay, let's pause on that phrase. Multi-million-dollar value. What does that actually represent in practical terms?
It typically represents earned media value, or EMV.
Right. Maybe explain that briefly for our listeners, the difference between paid and earned media value.
Sure, it's fundamental here. Paid media is straightforward. It's what you purchase. An advertisement, a sponsored post, maybe an influencer campaign where you pay directly for placement.
You buy the space.
You buy the space. Earned media, on the other hand, is the coverage you earn through your PR efforts. It's the article in a respected travel magazine, the feature on a news site, the positive review from a journalist who experienced your service firsthand. It's generated by the agency's work, their relationships, their storytelling, their press trips.
And the multi-million-dollar value.
That's the agency demonstrating that their strategic PR, their press trips, their media relations have yielded exposure that, if the client had tried to buy it through traditional advertising channels, would have cost millions.
Plus, earned media often carries more weight, right? More credibility.
Far more. It comes with that implicit third-party validation. It's seen as more authentic than a straight advertisement. So this EMV metric moves the discussion beyond just, we got some nice articles, to a tangible financial return on the communication investment.
That really reframes the whole justification for specialization, doesn't it? It's not just about having a better understanding. It's potentially about superior financial efficiency driven by that specialized access and credibility.
Precisely. It links the comms strategy directly to business value.
Okay, so if the imperative is clear, volatility demands specialization, the next logical question for a client is, how do I know this agency has the stability, the substance, to deliver over the long haul? How do I build trust?
Stability and legacy. You said it. They are absolutely non-negotiable when you're entrusting your global brand reputation, potentially worth billions, to an external partner.
And the source gives us a pretty solid starting point for Sergat here, established way back in 1987.
1987. Think about that.
That kind of institutional longevity is just staggering in an industry famous for churn, for agencies popping up and disappearing.
38 years. The source calls it 38 years of excellence in tourism communication and public relations in Spain, and positions them as the pioneer communications consultancy in the sector in Spain.
It's more than just being old, though. It implies institutional memory, doesn't it?
That's the critical piece. Think about what that history actually encompasses. They started pre-internet, essentially.
Wow, right.
They navigated the rise of online booking, the profound shattering impact of 9/11 on aviation and travel security perceptions.
The 2008 global financial crisis, which hammered travel budgets.
Exactly. And then the complete digital transformation driven by social media, mobile influencers, the whole landscape shifted multiple times.
So the 3-decade-plus institutional memory means they aren't just guessing at best practices during a crisis.
They likely have decades of proven crisis response embedded in their operational DNA. They've seen the patterns, they've learned the hard lessons. That legacy, that deep experience, is the ultimate form of trust for these global high-stakes accounts.
Okay, but legacy alone, while impressive, probably needs some external validation.
Yeah.
Let's look at the key credentials mentioned that sort of rubber stamp their expertise.
Good point. History is one thing, formal recognition is another.
Let's start with the UNWTO affiliation. The source notes that back in 2003, Sergat became the first specialist communications agency admitted as an affiliate member by the World Tourism Organization.
That is a massive distinction. Seriously, UNWTO affiliation isn't like joining a standard industry trade association. It's a much higher bar.
What does it signify for clients?
It signifies global alignment, transparency, and a commitment to the principles the UNWTO stands for. For a client especially, say a national destination marketing organization or a government-backed tourism body, knowing their communication partner is affiliated with the UNWTO means they adhere to global standards for sustainable tourism development, ethical promotion, robust data practices.
It elevates them.
It really does. It elevates the agency from just being a commercial vendor to being more like an institutional partner aligned with the highest levels of global tourism policy and thinking.
And it also suggests maybe an understanding of the long game. Because sustainable, responsible tourism isn't just a buzzword anymore. It's a key metric for travelers, for investors.
Absolutely. It signals they understand those macro trends.
Yeah.
But we also see a commitment to the future with the more recent Tourism mission in 2021.
Tell us about tourism.
So if UNWTO represents that global anchor of stability and standards, Tourism represents a commitment to the future of quality tourism, specifically within Spain. It's described as an innovation think tank promoting sustainable and quality tourism.
And Sergat was the first PR and comms agency admitted.
That's what the source says. And that signals they're not just following trends, they're actively involved in shaping the next generation of high-value Spanish tourism. They're likely part of conversations pushing back against maybe unsustainable mass-market models that can sometimes degrade a destination's reputation over time.
So you've got this combination. Global institutional trust via UNWTO, and forward-looking, quality-focused commitment via Torium.
It's a powerful pairing. It tells a client, essentially, we understand the global standards of today, and we're helping shape the quality benchmarks of tomorrow. That offers a lot of reassurance.
Okay, so strong credentials. Now, moving from validation to actual capability, let's map out their physical footprint and reach.
Right. Where do they actually operate?
Their home base is clearly Spain offices in Barcelona HQ and Madrid, but the source says they represent first-line accounts from around the globe.
So anchoring in Spain is crucial for their legacy and deep market understanding there. But servicing global accounts effectively requires a specific international setup. You can't just do it all from Barcelona.
And the source lists associated offices in some very strategic locations.
Yes. The Middle East GCC region, specifically Dubai Media City, and Asia Pacific, based in Singapore.
This doesn't feel like random expansion. Why those specific locations? Why Dubai Media City and Singapore for global tourism communication right now?
Highly strategic choices. Dubai Media City is essentially the gateway for accessing high net worth travelers and significant outbound tourism investment from the Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC region. These are crucial source markets for luxury hospitality, premium airlines, and exclusive destinations worldwide.
And Dubai itself is a huge hub.
A massive, still developing destination hub in its own right, requiring very sophisticated corporate and destination PR locally. Then you have Singapore.
The Asia-Pacific linchpin.
Absolutely non-negotiable hub for that region. It's politically stable, strategically positioned geographically, and provides access to incredibly diverse and rapidly growing travel markets across Asia. Plus, critically, it serves as a vital central point for coordinating communications, especially crisis response, in a region with very complex, fragmented media landscapes and different regulatory environments.
So for an airline client flying global routes or a hotel chain with properties everywhere,
having coordinated capabilities on the ground in these three key economic zones, Europe via Spain, the Middle East via Dubai, and Asia via Singapore, is pretty much indispensable for managing a global brand effectively.
Right. The message seems clear then. Choosing a specialist isn't just about finding expertise in one market. It's about vetting a potentially global structure built on decades of institutional trust, backed by credentials, and strategically positioned to handle diverse international markets simultaneously.
Exactly. It's the whole package. So, If the legacy and credentials form the foundation of trust, then the service portfolio is really the architecture built on top of it. This is where the true competitive advantage of the specialist over the generalist becomes most evident day to day.
And the source breaks it down into 6 distinct but interconnected service areas. They need to work together, presumably.
They absolutely have to work in concert. It's an ecosystem.
Okay, let's start with Area 1, the media office, described as the visibility engine. This sounds like the core PR function, where strategic consultancy meets execution.
It is, but I think the key difference lies in how a specialist operates it. A generalist media office might be more reactive, responding to inquiries, putting out standard press releases. A specialist media office needs to be anticipatory.
Proactive.
Proactive, strategic. Look at the functions listed. Strategic consultancy, media relations, press trips, and media coverage analysis and reporting. It implies a full cycle.
Let's focus on press trips for a moment. That sounds like a huge logistical undertaking.
Huge. And a specialist running a press trip isn't just, booking flights and hotels. They are meticulously targeting specific journalists whose readership or viewership aligns exactly with the client's desired demographic. They're designing unique, compelling itineraries that guarantee high-quality, story-driven content, not just generic puff pieces.
And managing the whole circus?
And managing the entire complex logistics pipeline. Crucially, the outcome has to be measurable, which is why the media coverage analysis and reporting piece is listed as non-negotiable.
They're not just counting clippings or mentions.
No way. They should be applying those EMV calculations we talked about, maybe sentiment analysis, tracking message pull-through, really proving the campaign's impact and ROI back to the client.
And underlying all of that activity is the need for flawless execution on the basics, right? Like copywriting and distribution for press releases and corporate material design.
Absolutely foundational. These materials have to communicate complex information, maybe about a new route, a hotel opening, financial results, simply, effectively, and accurately.
And a generalist might trip up there.
They might miss subtle regulatory nuances required in an airline press release or the specific tone needed for a luxury brand. The specialist living and breathing this sector should have that language, that tone, pre-vetted and instinctively correct.
Okay, moving to something that sounds far more demanding. Area 2, corporate reputation, which they frame as the shield.
Aptly named.
Especially in the travel sector where events can be unpredictable, sometimes tragic. The importance of crisis communications management feels paramount.
It's the ultimate insurance policy. Honestly, think about it. A destination gets hit by extreme weather, an airline has a major service disruption, or worse, an incident. Public trust can just evaporate in hours if the communication is handled poorly.
So what does the specialist offer here?
The source mentions brand-specific consultancy. This isn't generic crisis advice. It's built on decades of experience navigating crises, specifically within the volatile travel sector. They understand the unique pressures and stakeholder expectations.
But it's not just reactive, is it?
No, and this is key. The proactive step is what truly defines the specialist approach here. Spokesperson training.
How would a specialist spokesperson training differ from, say, general corporate media training that any big company might do?
General training often focuses on, staying calm, bridging techniques, answering tricky questions. It's useful but generic.
Right.
Specialized training for the travel sector focuses on navigating the specific emotional and technical demands of a travel-related crisis. It's a unique blend.
Give me an example.
Okay, imagine an airline CDO having to address the media after a major operational meltdown or safety incident. They need to convey technical precision, what happened factually, what the relevant aviation authorities like the FAA or EASA are doing. That requires clarity and accuracy.
But that's not enough on its own.
Not nearly enough. Simultaneously, they absolutely must project deep, sincere empathy for the stranded passengers, the affected families. It's a very difficult balancing act. Technical accuracy can sound cold, pure emotion can sound unprofessional or evasive.
So the training prepares them for that specific tightrope walk.
Exactly. The specialist conducts customized crisis communications seminars, often using realistic simulations, that drill the spokespeople on mastering those specific twin demands. Ensuring technical accuracy doesn't overshadow humanity, or vice versa. That's a common failure point in high-stress travel incidents handled by less experienced teams.
That focus on preventative measures and preparedness leads us nicely into Area 3, events organization.
The experiential side of things.
And the source boasts a pretty impressive number here, over plus 1,000 successful creative and tailor-made events organized.
Yeah, that number jumps out. It stresses not just volume, but also creativity and customization.
What does that signal beyond just being busy?
It signals deep capability and execution, particularly in the hospitality and lifestyle spheres where the event is the experience. A generalist agency might organize a perfectly competent launch party. A specialist ensures that the event, whether it's a presence at a major trade fair like ITB or WTM, a scientific congress related to tourism, or a bespoke product launch, is fully integrated.
Integrated into what?
Into the overall PR narrative, the ongoing media relations strategy, even the crisis communication plan. What if something goes wrong at the event? For instance, organizing a launch for that luxury hotel we mentioned, Grand Hotel Madame Brunot.
Right.
The event itself must meticulously reflect the hotel's exclusive high-end identity in every detail. The specialist coordinates every touchpoint: invitations, guest list curation, venue styling, catering, media handling at the event, ensuring it generates the exact type of media buzz and emotional connection that drives high-value bookings later on. It's about maximizing the ROI of that experiential marketing spend through strategic integration.
Okay, let's shift focus now to the digital realm, which is obviously huge in travel. Area 4 is content creation.
Moving beyond just traditional press releases.
Right. This includes copywriting for websites, blogs, and social networks. But the source highlights something crucial here, especially given Sergat's Spanish base: the adaptation and localization of global content for the Spanish market.
This point cannot be overstated. It's incredibly important.
Why is localization so critical in tourism comms beyond just basic translation?
Because running, say, a global campaign video produced in English with just simple Spanish subtitles, that's often a recipe for disconnect, or worse, disaster. Cultural nuance is absolutely everything in communication.
Give us some examples of where things can go wrong.
Well, first, there are practical regulatory differences. Advertising rules for luxury goods, airlines, package holidays, even specific regional tourism board claims can vary wildly across countries, and even within Spain's autonomous communities. A specialist knows these rules inside out.
Okay, compliance is key. What else?
Beyond rules, it's about cultural resonance. In Spain, regional identity is incredibly strong. Dialect variations, the choice of humor, historical references, even imagery get these wrong, and you can instantly alienate your target audience no matter how slick the global campaign looks.
So the specialist ensures the message actually lands effectively.
Precisely. A pioneer agency like Sergat, operating since 1987 in Spain, possesses that deep, almost intuitive institutional knowledge of the Spanish market, all its regions, its cultural triggers, its media consumption habits. They ensure localization is perfect, protecting the global brand's integrity while maximizing its local impact. It's far more than translation. It's cultural adaptation.
And that perfect localization must feed directly into the next area, Area 5, social media management and digital marketing.
Naturally, the content needs a channel.
They list the expected functions:
Yeah.
strategic planning, copywriting, community management. But they also specifically call out influencer marketing. How has that evolved in the travel sphere, and how does a specialist approach it?
Oh, influencer marketing in travel has completely shifted. A few years ago, it might have been about just finding accounts with the largest follower counts, a sort of spray and pray approach.
Volume over value.
Pretty much. Now it's much more about authenticity, credibility, and niche relevance. A specialist agency isn't just looking at follower numbers. They're leveraging their deep sector network to vet and connect clients with the right type of travel influencer. Meaning someone whose audience and content style genuinely align with the client's brand values and objectives. It might be a niche ecotourism blogger with a smaller but highly engaged audience for that Seychelles whale shark campaign. Or it could be a renowned high-end luxury travel reviewer with impeccable credentials for the exclusive New Year's hotel proposal.
So it's strategic matchmaking.
Exactly. This strategic vetting is essential to ensure the brand partnership feels credible and authentic to the audience, delivering measurable results like actual bookings or qualified leads rather than just fleeting visibility or empty likes.
Okay, and finally, the sixth area seems to tie everything together: advertising and creative design.
The visual and campaign integration layer.
This includes integrated campaigns, on and offline, branding, and editorial design. How does this fit into the specialist PR model?
This final piece ensures absolute consistency across all touchpoints. The specialized agency recognizes that the visual identity, the branding, the look and feel of ads, the website design, Even the layout of a brochure or report must powerfully reinforce the overall PR narrative they're carefully constructing.
So the visuals can't undermine the message.
Precisely. If the media office is working hard to establish the brand as, say, reliable, sophisticated, and trustworthy, crucial for an airline, then the creative design used in advertising or online cannot look cheap, inconsistent, or off message. It would completely undermine the credibility they're trying to build.
So the specialist provides that 360-degree oversight.
Yes, they ensure that the logo, the campaign visuals, the website copy, the social media tone, and the core press narrative all speak with one sophisticated, cohesive voice. That consistency is absolutely fundamental for building and maintaining global trust, especially in volatile sectors like aviation and international travel.
Right, we've established the why, the strategic necessity of specialization, and we've broken down the how, the architectural detail of that integrated service stack. Let's circle back now to the scale, the impact that results from this kind of decades-long focus.
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding, as they say.
The metrics provided confirm a pretty massive capacity. The source mentions over 80 top-level accounts worldwide.
That's a significant number. Top-level accounts, major airlines, national tourism boards, global hotel chains. They don't just sign on for a year or two with anyone. They demand sustained, sophisticated management, often across diverse geographic regions and complex communication requirements. Holding on to 80-plus suggests deep satisfaction and results.
And that other big number we touched on, over plus 1,000 successful creative and tailor-made events.
Again, that speaks volumes about their operational capacity, their creativity, and their ability to execute complex logistics repeatedly and successfully. It defines institutional capability and builds trust through proven delivery.
But the source rightly identifies the ultimate core resource behind these numbers.
Yes, one team of specialists with inspiring talent, and that's key. The services, the structures, the processes, those are tools. But it's the specialized knowledge, the experience, the relationships, and the shared talent of the people using those tools that clients are truly investing in. That's the engine.
And we can actually see the proof of this successful application of specialized talent in action right now by looking at the three vastly different current client projects detailed in the latest news snippets in our source material.
Right. These examples are happening simultaneously, which is telling.
It feels like the ultimate stress test for the whole specialization thesis, doesn't it? A generalist agency might really struggle to juggle these three effectively at the same time.
I agree. The complexity and the contrasting communication styles required are significant. Let's break them down.
Okay, first up, the luxury hospitality example. Hotel Madame Bruno is mentioned as consolidating its exclusive New Year's proposal for 2025-2026.
Okay, what does this project demand? It demands long-range planning and absolute precision in targeting a very specific high-net-worth audience. This isn't about promoting an immediate discount or a last-minute deal.
No, it's aspirational, future-focused.
Exactly. It's about carefully building an exclusive, aspirational narrative that justifies a potentially very high-value purchase months, maybe even a year or more in advance. The communication needs to be meticulously tailored to luxury lifestyle media, focusing on exclusivity, perhaps culinary arts, heritage, unique experiences. It's a pure execution of the specialist hospitality and lifestyle vertical expertise.
Then we immediately pivot to something completely different, the Destination Tourism Nature Project.
The start of the whale shark season in Seychelles, timed for October 2025.
What skills does that require?
This requires sensitivity, probably coordination with conservation groups, and very niche communication. The storytelling leans heavily on environmental awareness, appealing to the conscious traveler demographic. It involves coordinating information not just with the Seychelles Tourism Board, but likely with marine conservation scientists or local operators.
And it's highly seasonal.
Very seasonal. It demands quick, targeted bursts of PR timed perfectly to capture interest just before and during the season. It trades heavily on the emotion of discovery, natural wonder, maybe a touch of adventure classic, specialized destination PR, executed with ecological sensitivity.
And finally, the third example represents a complete pivot again into high-stakes corporate communication. Delta Airlines reporting its third-quarter financial results also in October 2025.
This one confirms they are operating at the highest level of complexity within the aviation vertical. Financial results communications are fundamentally different. They are largely non-emotional, highly regulated, and data-driven.
Zero room for error.
Absolutely zero. They must be handled with extreme precision. adhering strictly to financial reporting deadlines and regulations. And the agency's role here is to manage the narrative not primarily for the consumer buying a plane ticket, but for the global financial media, for market analysts, for
The
investors.
focus is totally different.
Totally. It's on profitability, market share, fleet orders, future guidance, overall corporate stability. This task requires a specialized financial PR capability, likely a dedicated unit or team members with that specific expertise, operating within the broader agency framework.
So connecting the dots then, the ability to seamlessly pivot between promoting an ultra-luxury culinary event in Spain for 2026
While simultaneously coordinating sensitive environmental tourism PR for whale sharks in the Indian Ocean for 2025.
and at the very same time executing complex, highly regulated corporate financial reporting for a major U.S. airline.
All happening concurrently under one roof.
It really does prove the immense value, the sheer operational capability of that integrated specialized service portfolio we spent time breaking down earlier in Section 3.
It demonstrates that specialization in this context isn't just a marketing buzzword or a claim on a website, it's an operational reality. It's arguably the only way an agency can successfully execute high-stakes communication across the incredibly diverse regulatory, financial, and emotional spectrums that define the modern global travel industry. Hashtag outro.
So wrapping up this deep dive into the critical role of specialization in tourism communication, it seems pretty clear that the decision for a travel brand to choose its communication partner is far more than just procurement. It's a fundamental strategic business imperative.
Absolutely. It underpins reputation, risk management, and revenue generation.
And the key differentiators that set a true specialist apart are now much clearer, I think. We've seen the importance of a long history, that deep institutional memory spanning decades.
Essential. Plus, the trust conferred by high-level relevant credentials like the UNWTO affiliation or the Terturium membership. That external validation matters.
Then there's the comprehensive and crucially integrated service stack, covering everything from proactive media relations and sophisticated digital content to, importantly, specialized crisis management and nuanced localization expertise.
That full toolkit, expertly wielded.
And, critically, the proof is in the pudding. The proven results, demonstrated by handling diverse, demanding, top-level accounts simultaneously across different verticals and geographies.
Exactly. When you put all those pieces together, legacy, credentials, comprehensive services, and proven results, that's what defines true specialization in this demanding field.
You framed the choice earlier as fundamentally a risk management strategy.
I really believe it is. Travel is arguably the most sensitive industry to external shocks. Think about global health crises, geopolitical conflicts, sudden environmental events, even economic downturns hitting discretionary spending first.
The first thing to get cut off.
Exactly. So you absolutely need a communication partner who doesn't just react, but has the institutional memory to reference past crises, understand the potential trajectories, and the strategic foresight to help you prepare for future unknown scenarios.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, as you look forward? Thinking about the future of global tourism and the communication strategies needed to support it in this, well, increasingly unpredictable world.
Well, here's a final thought to maybe mull over, building on everything we've discussed from the source material. Given the increasing frequency and severity of these global shocks, and recognizing the absolute reliance on consumer trust and confidence in the travel sector, how much emphasis should a tourism organization, be it an airline, a hotel group, a destination place, and critically budget for, in specialized future planning and proactive scenario mapping within their communication strategy?
Moving beyond just day-to-day PR.
Moving well beyond it, knowing that institutional legacy, deep specialization, and robust pre-planned crisis management capabilities, the kind detailed in the specialist service portfolios we examine, are perhaps the only true insurance policies you can have against the utterly unpredictable nature of tomorrow's global travel landscape. That's the tough question you really have to ask before entrusting your brand's reputation, maybe even its survival, to any agency, generalist, or specialist.